namaste. As you can see, if you have joined us, I don't know from where because I had set up a chat and it is told me you can't access that chat, and I don't know. Technology. We love it, we hate it, we need it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to talk to you, right, Savio?
Absolutely.
And I'm very delighted to see that you have a very good connection. And I want to just bring you back to the last chat for the people who might not be watching both the parts. You were talking about your childhood and how you came to Goa the first time and how it was like because you were raised in abroad in Dubai. And it was a shock for you to come to India, and you were not really happy at that time. And then later you met Manohar Parrikar and your life started changing. So can you just recap that shortly for like 2 minutes maybe?
Yeah. So I primarily was a child that was brought up in the Middle East. Most of my younger days were spent in the Middle East. And whenever I used to think about India and my perception of India, it was always based on Bollywood movies. And I always felt India was about corruption, was about dirt, was about unhygienic places, um, excrement everywhere. It was terrible. I would hate coming to India when I would come on my holidays. I carried with me because part of our family has a bit of connection to Portugal, and I always consider myself to be a foreigner for a very large part of my life. And I would consider most of India to be not something that I wanted to be a part of. You know, so I would always crave, and I would always.
Sorry, they suddenly started drilling upstairs. So whenever they're drilling, I just do something like this and then hope they go. I don't know. Somebody is having something against us talking today. There's some
Uh,
Shrivantra going on.
no, so whenever I would come to India, I would be a little disappointed and be completely against wanting to come to India. And I would go around telling my cousins that I'm a foreigner, and I would never want to come to India ever. I don't want to live in India. And when I was 9 years of age, my grandfather had a very balanced approach to life. And he was very prophetic in what he said. So he called me one day and he said, "Son, I want to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." And he said, as all grandchildren, I thought my grandfather's points of view didn't matter at that point of time. And I laughed it out. But what he said is like, today you can consider yourself to be a foreigner. And that's all right. I'm not going to judge you for what you think. But I just want to tell you one thing. There will come a time in your life when Mother India will call you, and you will leave everything and come back to India. And you'll not know why, but you will come and you'll give your best to India. And that happened sometime in 1999 towards the end, when a lot of my family, that's my sisters and my friends from Dubai, moved on to Canada, and I had an opportunity to go there as well, just like them. But I felt the need to come to India, and that's how I landed up in India. I was doing my law, then working at the Indian Express, and by virtue of that, I had an opportunity to come to Goa to meet Mr. Parrikar as a part of the conference that I was attending. Now, Goa to me initially, just like Bombay was considered to be very dirty, Goa to me was very village-like, and I came here once when I guess I was about 7 or something, and 7 or 8 around that age, and I was very scared about it because I had to go to an outside bathroom and for nature's call, and it was quite a horrific experience because my aunt's home had pigs, and pigs were supposed to take care of the human waste, and I didn't realize that that natural toilet was too natural for my liking, with the pigs grunting nearby and one snout coming out of the toilet hole. So that really frightened me a little bit. Uh, but having said that, when I came to Goa in 2002, I had a wonderful interaction with the then Chief Minister, the late Mr. Manohar Parrikar. We had a beautiful talk about Goa and what Goa should be and what Goa should grow towards and move towards. And in that opinionated talk of mine, I guess I was a little bit aggressive and a little bit critical. And that's when he told me, he says, it's very easy for you, Savio, to sit outside of Goa and tell us how to make a difference in Goa. But why don't you come back to Goa and help us to make that difference? So I didn't pay much attention to him, but he invited me for lunch. And I decided to go and meet him the next day for lunch. However, I was about 5 minutes late, and Mr. Parrikar left and to go out for another meeting. So I was very, very upset about it. So I did go back. I did write whatever I had to do with my interaction with him, but I completely forgot about it because I didn't think it was that important. And Goa to me was just that holiday, and I would come here for a holiday, stay in one of the lovely hotels out here, and go back. You know. And over the years, I did come back a couple of times, but I didn't have any interaction with Mr. Parrikar. But when in 2010 our real estate business started to pick up in Goa, and I said, okay, this is looking good. Let's come into Goa now full fledged and set up our media business. That's when I went to meet Mr. Parrikar again to invite him. And I was standing in the opposition cabin, and he was the opposition leader at that point of time. And he kind of saw me, he called me and said, told his person at that point of time to bring him in. And he says, so, hi, Savio, how are you? And I looked at him and said, I'm good, how are you? So then he said, I'm sorry I couldn't meet you that time. I had to rush out. I said, that's all right. Mr. Parrikar, I suppose people in your positions, have to run off. And it's not necessary you need to meet somebody like me. So having said that, we broke the ice once again. And then we had numerous interactions along the way. So I was not a politically attuned person. Of course, I did understand politics, and I was more of a business journalist. I like covering business. I like analyzing business. I like seeing how the markets move. I like to map trends that are happening in businesses. But with Mr. Parrikar, I started to realize that there is a very imminent need for us to have better journalism on political and social issues as well. And that's when I started the Goa Chronicle.
Oh.
I went to meet him after I decided to announce the Goa Chronicle. And after that, we had numerous interactions. And one of the most important things that I learned from Mr. Parrikar, as him being my mentor, through our interactions, was he helped me channelize the raw energy that I had, towards journalism per se, towards the fighter that I am intrinsically. He helped channelize that towards the nation and towards nation building, towards nation development, towards thinking about India first, thinking about Goa first. He didn't do it very brashfully, it was not so loud, but he had done it very subtly. And I remember a lot of people would tell him a couple of times stories that I'd written against the BJP when he was around, and people would go and complain to him that Savio, why is Savio writing these kind of things? And he said that's the way he is. you know he will write irrespective of whether I'm his friend or not. you know that's how he is. If he's got a fact, he'll stick by it. So Mr. Parrikar was a fantastic human being. He was educated. He was a visionary. He was somebody who was very humble, Suzanne. I would feel very disturbed, when he was ill. A lot of people in Goa who were negative towards him, especially some people, religious people from the Catholic community, would pray that he would, that this is a curse that God has given on him, and I felt really sad because here was this guy who in my interactions, I realized that this guy had just one intent. Mr. Parrikar had one intent. He wanted to see Goa grow. He wanted to set a roadmap for the growth of Goa and for the people of Goa. He may not have made some very good decisions, and he's made some good decisions. So, and that's the part and parcel of every person. You're not going to get
Yeah,
somebody who does 100%, right?
Mm.
So there have
Yeah.
been some errors that he would have made, and errors that we as journalists would have called out. And but he had his heart in the right place. And intent is very important in a politician. He was not somebody that is look who was looking at amassing wealth. I know his children as well. You know, these two boys who are fantastic, well-grounded boys. You know, we're friends. One of them stays in my building itself. You know,
Mm.
so we I've known them. I see an integrity in that family. So you have a politician that gave his life for Goa and for the country. You know, and that is important. It was not about accumulating wealth. All the time we had seen politicians, or we read about politicians, were about were about families, were about dynasties, were about aristocracy in politics. Mr. Parrikar didn't come from that at all, and he never espoused that kind of focus, and that's why I was very inspired by him. Okay, and if I can live and make a difference, it was to take his vision as far as Goa is concerned forward, and as far as India is concerned forward. All he ever advised me was to stay calm and don't react, you know, and understand the game that's going around you, and then play the cards that you need to play, or move your chess move the way you need to. Having said that, one of the most intrinsic qualities which I think a politician in India requires, and that's because India is changing. You know, India is not what it used to be. India is intelligent. The youth of India is more exposed to what's happening around the world. They're becoming global citizens. They are traveling around the world, so they understand right from wrong. They're not blind. They're not myopic. So today, the Indian young India is looking for politicians that can take their aspirations to the next level, and also bring about a reality to those aspirations. They want to be globally competitive. They want better infrastructure. They want better colleges. They want more jobs. They want an ability to compete with the best in the world, because they are capable of competing with the best in the world. Now,
Yeah.
that sort of confidence has been brought about primarily because of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What Prime Minister Narendra Modi has done in the last 9 years is actually infuse a self belief into many Indians that you can compete with the rest of the world. It's not that it did not exist before; it was there, but it was not so vibrant. You know, it was not so tenacious as it is right now. And that is what Prime Minister Modi has done. Because if you don't have that Atma Vishwas with you, yeah, how
Yeah.
are you going to be Atma Nirbhar?
No, you can't.
Right? Atma Nirbhar comes from
Yeah.
Atma Vishwas itself. So it's about India, the India story, and which is why a lot of people, when I joined the BJP back in Goa, and a lot within the Christian community, and priests in particular from my constituency, were very upset with me. They were like,
Hmm.
why have you joined the BJP? And some of them were like, you're a good candidate. You're educated. You have a sound mind. Yes, you've been critical of the church, which we have an issue with. And I'm like, okay, I've not been critical of the faith. I'm being critical of the people in the institution. So
Institution. Yeah.
you
Mm.
need to make a difference between all of that. You need to understand that. And I know sometimes it's difficult for people to understand the finer nuances of a discussion, but you need to have a certain amount of intelligence to do that, right? But they were upset because I joined BJP, and they were upset that, hey, listen, why are you joining the BJP? The BJP is a communal party. In fact, one of the parish priests in my constituency actually told my mother and then told me that you will be disillusioned like George Fernandez was later in his life. George Fernandez was a Christian politician in the
Yeah, I
BJP,
know. Mm.
and I told that priest with all humility, Father, I mean, I appreciate what you're saying, and I know where you're coming from. Your intent is good, but your understanding of BJP is a little shoddy, instead of being wholesome in its approach, and you're looking at it from a very biased prism. You might have reasons for that, and I'm not going to judge you for that reasons. But you should also understand that I also come from an intellectual background, so I would have done my own due diligence before wanting to get in. Maybe I have a purpose why I'm getting in. So I told him, let me explain to you what my purpose is. Okay. Imagine a house where people are deciding the future of your country. There's a house and there are people inside that house. The house is soundproof, and you are all standing outside wanting to get your voices heard, but nobody can hear you inside.
Oh.
Nobody can hear what the Christian community wants to say inside.
Mm.
Why? Because you've chose to remain outside the house. For you to be inside the house, you have to become a representative within that house, right? You can stand with placards outside and talk and protest and say this is right, this is wrong. We want our human rights. We want to protect our faith, and that is acceptable. But they're
Yeah.
not going to hear you because they can't hear you inside. So for me, to create a balance, it is important for us to have Christians and Catholics who are sensible, who are nationalists, who want to work towards nation building within the BJP as well.
So
How will
the
you
priest
be able
wanted you to. The priest was automatically assuming if you join politics, you will automatically be in the Congress party. Is that what he was trying to say, or?
No, he was trying to say I should not be in the BJP, saying that BJP is a
But
communal
where's the
party.
alternative? But then
The
there is nothing.
alternative is I could have been in any other political party or I could have been an independent.
Okay.
Okay? To them, BJP is communal. So my argument or my discussion with them was BJP isn't going anywhere for the next couple of years. So in that context, where is the rights, the concerns, the issues of the Christian community is going to be addressed? By standing and protesting outside or by going inside?
Inside.
Today,
Definitely inside.
Today, let's assume for a moment there is a conflict that is happening between the Christian community and the Hindu community, and BJP has an option to solve that problem.
Mm.
Wouldn't it make sense for a Christian to be able to tell the BJP or the government or the Hindu community that, hey, listen, maybe this is the wrong way that you're looking at the situation? For example, we were talking in the morning about the anti-conversion laws. I
Yes.
completely support the anti-conversion laws,
Yeah, but you
but
want
that law
more.
has to be stronger.
Yeah, you want more stuff added that they are not aware of because they don't
Correct.
know about the things. So basically,
Correct.
you are the expert. So if you are have
Correct.
experts on board in any topic, in any subject, you need experts. You need people who know and live that.
For example, everybody looks at the Christians as the Catholic Church involved in conversions. But in all fairness, in today's day and age, the Catholic Church does not involve itself with forceful or conversion through allurement. In fact, to even become a Catholic now, there's a whole process. And sometimes people who want to become Catholics are not even allowed to become Catholics. That is the truth. But
Hmm.
many of the average Hindus don't know that. The average
Oh.
Hindu sees a pastor, criticizing Hinduism, criticizing Hindu gods, sees him as a Christian, so everybody is labeled as that. Do you
Hmm.
understand? So the
Yeah.
denominations in Christianity itself is so much, and each behaves differently. Each denomination behaves differently. The Catholics behave differently from the Protestants. The
Yeah.
Protestants behave differently from the believers. In fact, the Catholics and some of the Protestants don't like the believers. They're having problem with the believers, which is your Jehovah Witnesses, your believers group, the KP Johannan's team from South. They're having problems with them. So the idea is what? Look at people for what they are in the work that they do. Why does a community, whether it's a Hindu community, whether it's a Christian community, or whether it's the Islamic Muslim community, why should they become? Why should you become judgmental on the individual?
Hmm.
Right? Look at each individual, each case in isolation, and then take a call. No? Because if you find a murderer who's a Muslim, that does not mean that entire community are murderers, right? Because
Yeah.
you will find a murderer in the Hindu community as well. Are you going to say all Hindus are murderers then?
No, definitely not.
Right?
Definitely not.
That is
It's
the
just very
argument I had.
easy.
I had with the
Savio, it's
bishops,
very
and
easy. It's very easy to generalize. Yeah, it's very
precisely,
easy
and
to just
that's
sit
my
there and point
argument
the
was
finger.
the that was my argument with the Catholic Church leaders in 2018 when they said Christians are in danger in India, and they continue to say that. I keep asking them, why do you say Christians are in danger? Like we said in the morning, on the conflict regions. If there are 600 cases or 700 cases as you have mapped out,
Hmm.
does that mean the 2 crore population of Christians are in danger?
Yeah.
Why are you creating a fear psychosis to the 2 crore population that exists in India? right? So let's look at it this way. Now, in the sexual abuse cases that we have mapped in India from 2014 to 2019, there have been 110 cases of sexual abuse by clergymen against minors and nuns. Okay. Now, can I go out and say that by based on this statistics, every priest, every pastor is a pedophile or a rapist?
No,
Can
of
I?
course. No, you, of
Then how can
course.
you
Of course.
generalize? How can you generalize that all Christians are in danger in India by a few numbers? You
And
cannot. So
what
you
is
have
the
to.
answer that you're getting? What is the answer that you're getting if you're pointing these things out? I mean, that you are
There.
very
Well,
inconvenient. I think you are very inconvenient in your ways, in your thinking,
no,
because
I'm a fact based person. I'm a researcher. I will talk to you with logic. You might call me a BJP lapdog. You might call me a Prime Minister Modi's lapdog. All I'm trying to tell you is open your eyes. India, as much as it belongs to the Hindus, as much as it belongs to the Muslims, also belongs to the Christian community. We are sons and daughters of Mother India. It is our responsibility towards nation building, and we've been doing that for years. We just don't, people just don't talk about the contribution of the Christian community to India. Look at education, look at healthcare. Where does that come from? That mostly has come from the Christian community itself. So today, when people come out and say, oh, the Christians are converting, which Christians are converting, my friends? Can you identify them? Yes, there is conversions happening, but who is doing it? And what are the laws and how strict are those laws for you to stop it? And can those laws that exist, do they infringe on human rights? Do they infringe on your fundamental rights in the country? Everybody cannot be painted in the same brush, and that's where the conflict arises, and the conflict deepens and the wounds deepen. There is an imminent need for reconciliation within the religious communities in India. There's an
hmm.
imminent need for reconciliation. There is a lot of bad blood that exists, but the people that exist today are not responsible for the bad blood. That same anger, the same grudge gets carried forward. Let's take the Goa Inquisition for that matter. A
Hmm.
lot of people within the Hindu community are very upset about what has happened. They have also, looking at the Pope apologizing, because the Pope has apologized in other nations as well, where the Inquisition was conducted, or where the Catholic Church has gone beyond its brief of being humanitarian in nature. They've gone beyond that. They've been more diabolical, right? Is it wrong for them to ask that? Of course not. In fact, I have made a statement on television saying the Pope must apologize because he set a precedent.
Yeah, the
He has
Pope
apologized
nowadays.
times before.
The Pope nowadays is also a completely different thing. If you look back, a Pope was a political post once upon a time.
They
It
still,
was a
this,
post that has to do with money and power. It was not a calling. I mean, they cloaked it in it, but it was not really that kind of a thing that it is now.
see a lot of the conflicts today, like I was saying back in Goa. So a lot of Christians believe, they continue to have a lot of belief, the Goan Christians. Goa has not seen conflict at all. And Goa will not see conflict as long as there is the power of the belief in every religion that exists in Goa. It's the same in India. It is just a few nefarious elements across religious boundaries that are trying to create a communal discord in India. And I'm saying this again, said it on numerous platforms. In the run up to 2024, India is going to have a humongous conflagrations on religious grounds,
Yeah,
because the only weapon that
that's
they
the only
have
weapon.
ever used
Yeah.
is religious conflict in India. Unfortunately, which is why I try to, at most of my conversations with people, try to focus on the most important thing that's required, and that's humanity. We are all sons and daughters of Mother India. Where is the difference?
Yeah,
Where our roots are connected here,
that's the only
right?
thing that you can poke with, because otherwise, what else will you poke in this country? Yeah. Otherwise, there is
At the end of
unity.
the day,
There's a
think
lot of
think
unity
about
here.
it. You see it on social media. You see it with some conflagrations that media also does, which is, Hindu, Muslim, Christian conflict. In the end, when the conflict happens, when people lose their lives, families are broken, you think you have done God's work by fighting for defending what you think is your interpretation of your religion. But I don't think God ever created humanity for humanity to destroy itself based on what God is. This is a true God, and this is our way, and this is the way God is supposed to be. I don't think the existence of God is was that. The purpose of God, and as Sanatan Dharma reveals to you, is about finding universal oneness with each other. So today you have in India where Christians are saying, "Oh, let's vote the BJP out." Why? Because BJP is Hindu majority party; they're communal. Okay,
Mm.
and I'm saying, how different is Congress? How different is AAP? They're all having their own games that are being played. What is your role as a citizen towards India? Is to select the right person in your constituency that will work for you,
Yeah.
right? I
And
am
you're
in no
voting
way
actually
a
for the person,
psychopath.
You're actually
I
voting for that person, not for the party.
I'm in no way a psychopath, and I have had my run-ins with the BJP even at a state level. Okay, because I will call out what needs to be called out in the interest of my state and the interest of my country, because I am here with a purpose, and that purpose is to take India forward, to take Goa ahead. That's really what my purpose is. As Gurudev Shishi Ravi Shankar, in our wonderful conversation that we had, where we went around his home for 25 minutes, and we had this animated conversation, and all he advised me is, Savio, use your intelligence to guide people. And that is
Mm.
what I'm doing. What is the guidance that is required in this country right now? The guidance that is required in this country is that this country belongs to you. It does not belong to a political party. It
Mm.
does not belong to a religion. It belongs to you. Who's a you? The you is an Indian, intrinsically somebody who's got Sanatan Dharma in his roots. And Sanatan Dharma's got nothing to do with religion, it's got everything to do with oneness, a universal consciousness and ability to see another person for what they are. Unfortunately, what we are doing in the country, and what everyone is doing, is to try and polarize this country, try and polarize this nation, that one set of people will come together, which is minorities, for example, and majorities will be separate. Suzanne, a mother, I'm a father of two daughters. If I was to have a choice between both my kids, you think I'd ever be able to make a choice?
No.
No parent can. I would die for both of them, without a doubt, without a blink of an eye. So, how can a mother make a choice between whether that kid is a Muslim or whether that kid's a Hindu or a Christian? Mother India loves you either way. The conflict always happens in the kids, but the
Yeah.
mother still loves you. And that's where the problem is. And that's the message. We have to think Indian, because we are all an integral part of the humanism of India. The integral part of the humanism of India, as Dayal Upadhyay had written, and even Nanaji Deshmukh spoke about it. You know, and there are many other leaders who are not necessarily linked to the BJP, but people across who have spoken about the beauty. Swami Vivekananda, for example, spoke about the beauty of Sanatan Dharma. And India should not lose that, and which is why I believe that Sanatan Dharma is the beacon to the conflict that is happening around the world. Therefore, every single Indian, including the Christians, and why I'm talking to them, because you might see me being a part of the BJP as not a part of you, but that is your problem. That's not mine.
Mm.
I'm very much a part of India. I'm very much rooted in India. I will never be a slave of a foreign power. But my faith lies in what Jesus taught us. And because of my faith in Jesus, I started to appreciate Sanatan Dharma more. I may have conflicts with what the church is doing, especially on issues of sexual abuse. Because when an institution covers up sexual abuse,
Yeah.
they are far
It's
more
quite.
guilty than the person committing the crime. because you shake the very foundation of the faith. Faith is a blessing. When people have faith, Suzanne, it's a blessing because that blessing gives you hope in life. Why do people turn to God? Why do people turn to their beliefs and their faith? Because these struggles of life, in the struggles of life, you need hope. And when
Mm.
a priest or any one of these clerics of any religion rapes or molests a child, you take that hope away from that child. That is where the problem is. So today, I'm not trying to be a political leader. That's not what I'm trying to do. I came into my constituency in Goa because I wanted to bring about a constructive change. I may not have won this time, and I didn't expect to win. There's nobody knew me at a ground level. They only saw me as somebody on television, right? But if I don't win, even the next time, I will continue to do what I do. Is that I will buy you with my knowledge and not with my money, because I will never buy a single vote. Either you love me for what I am or don't vote for me. I don't care. But I will give you my message to you.
Do you think that the 9 years is maybe too short a time for people to change their mindset? Because there was a
Of course.
certain mindset before, and this typical thing is like when you need something done in the Western world, you go from A to B. And in India, when I came in the beginning, it was like we need to go from A to B, so we have to go via C and D and make a little turn there and meet XYZ people, and then we have to come back and chakka marke, and then we get to our manzil because the direct route was not working. And
You see,
now there is a direct approach for people. There's a direct thing that is happening, like just the easiness how to get a passport now.
yes.
Yeah.
You see, with Suzanne, with development, with better policies, with a better government, India will compete with the rest of the world, and India is competing with the rest of the world, and
Stock
that is the
market is
beauty.
already competing very nicely. I must say, economy wise,
True.
it is like, yeah,
Right. So you have a positive government, you have a progressive government that is working towards a better India, right? So things are looking up, and I keep saying the real population is young India. Young India is aspirational. Young India does not care about your religious bickering or your religious supremacy, because to a young Indian, you're a human. You live life. Great to be together. Let's have a great time. Let's do great business. Let's make some money. Let's buy some lovely cars. Let's eat in a lovely restaurant. That's young India, and nothing
yeah.
wrong in that.
Hmm.
Absolutely nothing wrong in that. Because I think on the shoulders of young India, a very positive young India that sees beyond religion. I've often said religion is a map. Okay, it's like taking a journey, and there's a map, and you take that journey. Religion is that journey that brings you to the door of spirituality. Now, you can open the door of spirituality and walk in, which some people do. But some people like to roam around that door itself, trying to figure out what that door is about, but they never open it. So they keep walking that journey round and round and round without opening the door. And that is really the problem of religion. But when you look at religion and you look at politics and you look at society, and you look at where you want to go, collectively, then I think you need to keep religion at the side. You need to evolve more spiritually and realize that at the end of the day, your God, my God, their God makes no difference to any God. What really makes a difference, because neither has anybody seen Jannat, nor have they seen heaven, nor have they seen hell. Everything you experience here.
Here.
When you're when you are happy, you are in heaven. When you are sad and stressed, you feel like hell. That's your
Mm.
experience. So what matters is what you do, the difference that you do to with each other. So when I talk to people and people say, oh, the Christians are doing this, the Muslims are doing this, let's fight, let's defend. Of course you have to defend yourself. You have to defend yourself against the thought process in their head. not against breaking them.
Yeah,
You
but
have
that
to work.
means, a lot of people are not capable of seeing that the whole responsibility, the zimmedari for their own thought process, for their own well-being lies with them. I see a lot of people, most of the people are always in the outside, in the surroundings. They're looking for the problems and solutions. Okay, that happened. That's why I feel like this. That happened. That's why I feel like this. No, you can choose how you feel about certain things. You can choose at any given moment how you are reacting to any given
Let's
situation
let
in
me
your life. And
let me
if you
give you a
have that, if you take that responsibility, you can't blame other people anymore. As you said
no.
before, victim card is out of the window. Yeah, we had
True.
this discussion in the other chat about the victim card, where you told
Correct.
somebody you have to forget about your victim card, and you just have to pick yourself up and move forward, because you're the only person with a very singular. I see the world different. You see the world different, and that's a gift that we have been given, and we are not even. So many people don't realize it because they think the way I'm feeling, everybody else is feeling. No, you are so special that what you're thinking and feeling and seeing and experiencing is only your experience.
On the ground, I'll give you a little bit of understanding to the people of India. At a ground level, at a base level, if you sit with somebody in a restaurant, you will see a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Sikh all eating together.
Yeah.
That is the reality of India. The reality of India, sometimes portrayed on social media and on mainstream media, is not necessarily the reality of India. The reality of India is every person wants to work hard, wants to earn a living, wants to see his children, his or her children doing well in school, and wants to have a decent life. That's what the aspiration of an average Indian is. The average Indian is not interested in burning buses, burning homes, cutting people because some God told him to do that. He gets carried away in the mob that happens around just to stay safe.
Mm.
That is what happens. There are genuine mobs, and then there are people who are in those mobs because they want to stay safe. India today, Suzanne, is poised at a position to become the leading nation of the world, not necessarily because of its economic progress, but because of its spiritual advancements in humanity and an ability to understand universal consciousness better than the
Than anybody else.
Abrahamic religions, as you would call it. Okay, and having come from an Abrahamic religion, let me tell you that the church, in all its honesty, may have done the some right things, but they have also erred. In much the same way, you would have similar problems with Islam. But Sanatan Dharma, because it does not follow a doctrine,
Mm.
allows for you to understand universal consciousness more deeper, because it's about human connect. It's about connecting with nature. It's about connecting with life, because we are all like connected. We are all energies coming out of one universal consciousness. And that is what connects us. So today, when I'm connected to India, I, as an Indian, can be connected to somebody sitting in, say, Saudi Arabia, sitting in the US, because we are connected by humanity. We are connected by our humanitarian connect. And that is what the beauty of Sanatan Dharma is. And in a conflicting world, I say this over and over again, it is Sanatan Dharma that's the beacon of light, and not necessarily any other religion. It has to be spirituality.
Do you expect more attacks, more from the outside media, from the Western media, from other
Of
governments,
course,
especially from America, towards the elections? Because they tried to, through misinformation in 2019, they were
of
trying
course, we're
to.
going to do it. I have no doubt that it will get more vicious. But you know what they're doing? They're only. It's very strange that they do that, because it's not applying a little bit of common sense. The more you attack the Hindus, the more the Hindus will unite,
Hmm. Yeah,
because it
that's true.
becomes a civilizational existence for them.
Yeah.
Right? Today, Even let's take the Christians for example. Yes, they came together in Karnataka. The Muslims came together in Karnataka. The Christians came together in Karnataka. And those Hindus who didn't want to vote for BJP and Modi did not vote. But in the Lok Sabha, what would matter is not so much that split of the votes at that point of time,
Hmm.
because a 2% population will have little impact. A 17 to 20% population will have a certain amount of impact, and that is what you need to look at. So if you consolidate the entire Hindu votes, then there is no political party that can win. But can BJP consolidate the entire Hindu votes? The answer is no, because it's not a Hindu majority party. BJP, once you become a government, you cannot be thinking of just one community. You have to think about everybody, because Prime Minister Modi is Prime Minister for the whole country. So when you're in a political party, your responsibility is also towards every person in your constituency or the domain of your political party, not just a religion. Of course, you have to protect your culture. You have to protect what is intrinsically your faith, but it does not come at demeaning or diminishing the other person's faith. And BJP does not do that. There are some characters that are there that are outside the holes of BJP, and some foolish guys in the BJP, like in Karnataka, who made ridiculous statements on
Hmm.
religious grounds. Those people need to be corrected. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, but that you will always have, and especially in a country of the size. I think a lot of people always forget also how big this country is,
Yes.
how huge it is, how many different languages are there, how many different traditions, cultural aspects. Yeah,
Yes.
all this.
But
When you come
it
from outside, as a foreigner, you just see this is this one huge country that you understood, but you don't even understand. It took me a while to even understand that I'm in Maharashtra and there's a different language, because when you come, you're overwhelmed.
correct.
And
But
I came
in
here
all that,
before I could Google everything. Now it is the first thing that everybody's doing. If I want to know something, I go on Google and I Google it up and I try to find information. But when I was coming here in 2003, 2004, I was not so habitual to just go and get the information from there. So
so
in every interview in Europe, in every interview I give in Germany, I also try to explain to people, okay, there is this form of Bollywood, and then there is this other cinema that is happening, and there are all these different languages where content is being produced. And every time I say these things, people are like, "What?" Because they don't know. There is so
correct.
much either ignorance, not knowing, or complete intentional misinformation.
It's mostly intentional misinformation, because a rising India is a terrifying India for the rest of the world, especially the US.
Yes.
Because I believe the US is a lobby of imperialists. They're no different from UK, because they all come from the same roots, the same blood, and they will not want to see a rising India. But I'd like to tell the US and the people of US and UK that India is rising. There's nothing you can do to stop it. You can try. There will be people like Savio Rodrigues that will stand up, of Christian faith, who believes in his Sanatan Dharma, who believes in his mother India, that will stand up to you and say, hey, listen, please don't tell us Christians we are in danger in India. We know India better than you.
Hmm.
We know how our Hindu brothers and sisters are. We know how our Muslim brothers and sisters are. We don't need a lecture from you.
That would be the ideal case. I'm surprised actually that the rest of the world has still not understood how generous India can be looking at COVID, where you wrote a
Yes,
book about it as well. Like,
correct. Modi stole my mask.
yeah, they were trying to paint this into this disaster here, and it has turned out in a way that nobody expected. And to how many people, how many countries have we sent the vaccine for free?
True,
Can you, yeah.
true. So the problem, see, the beauty of Prime Minister Modi and the beauty of people in his team is that you can throw any dirt at him. You can criticize India. You can call India names, but India is not going to stop. You can create a communal disharmony in India, but India is going to surge ahead. India is poised at that position. Today, Modi is there, tomorrow, Modi will not be there. But India will remain, young India will remain, and young India will continue to move forward because the legacy of India and the future of India cannot be shaken by anybody. There will be many Modis that will stand up, people who could be better than Modi that will stand up and take India forward because that is India's destiny. India has always been a land of knowledge, blessed by Ma Saraswati, and I've always been somebody who believed in Ma Saraswati, and I believe the knowledge of India is the knowledge that will take India forward.
Wonderfully put, wonderfully put. So, what do you think the whole in what one should do with misinformation? Because if you are just an average citizen, and let's say you sit in Goa, you open your normal newspaper, any newspaper that you're reading, you feel like, can I even trust this article? Can I even trust the information that I'm getting? How do I know as a normal average citizen what is misinformation, what is being fed to me on purpose?
Because I
Because
think you
we run
need
on
to you need
misinformation and on ratings. Sorry, sorry.
a lot of people, including my mother, for example, she gets a lot of WhatsApp messages and then she calls me up saying, "What is this? What is this? What is this?" And I
Wow.
keep telling her, I said, you need to have one source of information, and that is your son, because you trust your son implicitly, right? And your son,
Okay.
will not do anything that is contrary to his firm beliefs that come from a very spiritual side. So don't believe everything that you read.
Mm,
Test it for yourself. This country is about you, not about the news that you read.
mm,
Okay, so today if somebody has told you that there are a bunch of Christians who are converting people, and you will feel aggressive about it, and you go with a bunch of people, you know, taking sticks in your hands to beat them. Sit down and think what about what you're doing. There is a law that is required. You are not the law. You don't
mm,
need to take law into your own hands. There are laws in this country to deal with every problem. The problem is when you become a mob, you lose your sanity. And at times you see that the mobs are the ones that are responsible. I mean, think about it, which is something that I always feel very, very bad about. Was in India, which is seen as a Hindu majority country globally, two sadhus were brought out of a police station
mm.
and
I
were
was just
beaten
thinking
to
about that.
death.
Yeah. Mm.
And what happened? The
Palgar.
case is
Yeah.
just moving, right? In
Palgar is
Parga.
right here.
Why was there no fury? Why was there no anger? Why were there no protests that were happening across the country fighting for the rights of the sadhus?
Yeah.
What was the wrong that they did that they got mercilessly beaten with cops standing around? Did the Hindus awake for that? Did they get up and come on the road? Like
Mm,
the rest of the people got on the road when the Katwa rape happened and a Hindu was involved in it, allegedly, or
mm.
whether now rape was involved, where thousands of people came out to protest. Where were the Hindus for the Palgar Sadhus?
But I see that a lot.
No,
When uh, Christian is attacked or Muslim is attacked or anything of that sort happens, and people are very vocal about it to defend and to be there and to stand up
precisely the
for it.
point I'm making.
Why not? Why not? Hindus are very like relaxed. I don't know how to call this.
When the violence happened for the Hindus in Bengal after the election, where women were raped, a 62-year-old grandmother was raped in front of her 8-year-old grandson in Bengal.
Yeah.
What did the Hindus do? What did the governor, who's the vice president right now, do? Besides come on social media and whine.
Mm,
So Hindus today must understand, if they don't raise their voices, they don't create a consensus to be able to get their voices heard. Their voices will never be heard. They will never be heard. All they keep doing is master stroke on social media. Please
Yeah,
tell
but I
me.
know a lot of
Please
there
tell
are
me.
a
I've
lot of
given you two
people.
examples. Two examples.
Hmm.
West Bengal. A 62-year-old grandmother raped in front of her 8-year-old grandson. And the Palgar Sadhu. The Palgar Sadhu's video was played on television. What happened then? What happened to the Hindus then? What happened to their strength, their courage?
Do you
Because
think they're just so
politically they were
used
asked
to?
to keep quiet.
Do you think it is because they're used to that nobody listens to it anyways? Or
So then why make noise about it on social media? No. Why whine? Do something about it.
mm.
You want to make a difference? You want to protect Sanatan Dharma? You want to protect Hinduism? Make a difference. Don't
Yeah,
keep
but you
putting
have to
master
be
strokes
careful
on
that
social media.
you should not become a mob then, no? That's the whole thing. How to do it, how to be standing up for rights and defending and
Which is
making
why
a
I
mark.
defend the Hindus. Do you know why I come out and defend? Because they are my brothers and sisters. What is
Mm.
happening with them is wrong. The demonization of the Hindus in this country is wrong. Why are you demonizing them? They are not in conflict with you. They are not in conflict with the Christians. Yes, there is a fear that they have towards Islamic radicalism. But why demonize them? A Pehlu Khan gets killed, everybody writes about it. But a Hindu gets killed. They've been hanged in Bengal. They've been hanged in other parts of the world, country. How much
Mm.
protests have you seen? How much media have you seen internationally for them?
Na, internationally to वैसे भी नहीं.
So we don't have advocacy. We don't have fights. All we say is, okay, we must save India. We must save India. How are you going to do that?
Mm.
How are you going to do that? By talking on social media. Get down on
Probably
the
not.
street and show the people your strength.
Mm.
Today, there's one man standing and fighting Narendra Modi for the civilizational existence of this country. And even him, people have a problem with within the Hindu community. What do you expect a prime minister to do? Only stand up for the Hindus?
Nah,
He's the
of
prime
course not.
minister of India.
I think whatever he's doing it in the democratic framework, you know,
Exactly.
in the
So Hindus have to
constitution.
wake up, no? Hindus
Yeah,
have to wake up in not a negative manner, in a
yeah, not in
positive
a
approach.
negative.
Your
Exactly.
lobbying, your ability to lobby globally, you are not doing that. You are not taking the message of Sanatan Dharma assertively. Hindus are not here to kill Muslims and Christians. That's the truth.
Mm.
They are not that kind of people.
No, they're not.
It's not
Definitely not,
intrinsically
because
their nature.
they
But
take
they will
themselves
defend
more.
themselves and they should defend themselves. The reason
Mm.
I come out supporting my Hindu brothers and sisters is because they are a part of the same Mother India. Therefore, as a person of Christian faith, I will always stand up for them. Because you have no right to demonize their religion. No religion has the right to demonize another religion.
Mm.
So when a pastor says that the Hindu gods are demons, I ask him a question back again. What is the guarantee that the God you believe in is right? Or at least your idea of that God? So today we have to rise up above all this and say, okay, how do we unite India? We unite India by a simple philosophy of being Indian. We are all Indians. We are all Bharatvasis.
Mm.
We come from the same mother. Our roots are the same. We might look different. We might speak different, but our blood is the same. Our blood is grounded to the roots of India,
Beautiful. Yeah.
and
So
that's the reality.
your Josh is very high.
I am the way I am. You've seen me around.
Yeah, yeah. And it was wonderful talking to you twice
Thank you.
today. And it
It's
was,
my pleasure.
I'm very happy that the internet was not giving up on us. And I'm very happy
I'm
that
sorry. I love India a lot. I love my people.
I
Okay.
find
And
it's very wonderful to see this rise of healthy nationalism, a love for the country, because I also come from a country that has been told you cannot be proud to be a German because of what happened with the Nazis and Hitler, what even my dad had nothing to do with. never mind my generation, never mind the next generation. And it's a tool to keep people in place.
Correct.
Because a healthy nationalism, a healthy love for your country, building it up, being productive, working for the betterment, brings the whole society up. And then you can, in the world view, all these countries who are like healthy countries can unite and make a better world.
True.
Because if
You know,
every country is like solid in themselves, then you don't have problems with fixing or implementing certain things that need to be implemented about the environmental issues that we're having and the soil issues that we're having and the water issues, pollution levels, and all these things. Because if you are having a good, solid stand to be on and you balance, then you will not have a problem implementing all these things.
I agree with you, which is why it is important for us to understand, like I said earlier also in my previous talk, and I'll say it now again, reiterate, India is about its people. The spirit of India is about its people. And the people of India, in my opinion, having traveled to a lot of places around the world, are very, very humane in nature. They are essentially uh, uh, a reflection of what I would consider what the gods would have wanted from people, which was to be able to live in harmony with one another. And that's the beauty, an ability. You see the West, and I've said it before also, the West is very materialistic. India is not. India is more community driven. India is more people driven. It's not individualistic. They want to take India towards the West. They want to make India a credit based society. They want to India to be in a lot of debt. But we were not that. We were self sufficient. We were a village republic. We were able to help each other grow in a village. A village became an economy. Marriages would take place.
Chanakya, Chanakya Niti, and like the
Correct.
whole concept is different. And I see a trend towards maybe I'm more exposed to that, but I see a trend towards trying to go towards that kind of knowledge
Correct.
and move away from the kind of education system that has been forced upon this country. Go back to like
I
loose
think it's
loose
very
science,
important
loose
for us
pollution.
to it's
Hmm.
important for us to evolve using Sanatan Dharma principles, which is why I'm one of the biggest advocates of Sanatan Dharma principles. Besides, the different hats that I put of a journalist and a politician and all. The only hat I'm really interested in is being a human. I can give away all these hats at a drop of a hat. You know, I don't care about whether I win an election, I don't win an election. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is whether I'm a human and how good a human I've been on that particular day. That's what
Wonderful,
matters to me.
wonderful. And on this note, I think this was again, oh, another hour. Wow.
Yes.
Time flies with
Thank you.
you. And thank you so much for
My
being
pleasure,
and
Suzanne. My
talking
pleasure.
in such an eloquent matter, hard hitting matter, very intelligent. Was wonderful to listen to you.
Thank you.
And again, I'm very happy the internet worked this time.
All
So,
right. God bless.
and I hope you, the audience, liked this chat as well with Savio. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please share, like, subscribe, do all these things, and leave comments what you liked about this chat. If you want Savio to come back, because I would like to have him back on the show and talk about how his book, yeah, Modi stole my mask. I would really like to talk about that. There was no time for
Great.
it today because wonderful chats we had. Thanks
God bless.
and
Bye.
Jai Hind, Vande
Jai
Mataram.
Hind. Bharat Mata ki jai. Bye.
Okay, namaskar.